Hey, what's up YouTube? It is Captain Shock here. Welcome back. I hope everyone is having a great start to their week. Now, in this episode 5 of the most elite gun setup video, I will be talking about the VOLK assault rifle in Infinite Warfare. Now, straight off the bat, I want you to pay particular attention to the ranges that I'm keeping my enemies and engaging them and pursuing them at. It's medium to low medium ranges, and those are the ranges where the VOLK is most efficient. Now, the VOLK assault rifle was actually top tier and probably the best assault rifle in competitive gameplay at the start of Infinite Warfare, but it did get a nerf, and this is what we have now. We have a high recoil assault rifle. As a player that regularly dominates lobbies, I like making the most out of my weapon. So if I'm using my weapon, I want it to be lethal. I want it to be the best it can be. And with these attachments, I believe the VOLK will be elite. The first attachment that will make the VOLK elite is grip. You need grip for this weapon. This weapon kicks like a mule. Believe me, it will frustrate you if you don't use a grip. And the grip helps in controlling that recoil a bit, but you do have to actively control it yourself as well. You have to compensate for it. When I am making these videos, I am keeping it in mind that you will have a mixture of good, average and bad players in your lobby. So the attachments that will be used on this weapon will compensate for those factors. And if you don't use grip on the VOLK, you will have a hard time against decent players. You will miss a few shots and you will pay for it. So you need a grip on this weapon to make it consistent. We want to tame the weapon a bit. We want to get it nice and consistent and have a nice pattern going. Also, if you're using grip, don't engage in long range targets as well, because you will alert the enemies and they will turn around and they will get you if they're using an NV4, for example, which is a low recoil gun. So it's very important that you engage medium to low medium range targets only. I do believe they will buff this weapon in the future, as in a recoil buff they will reduce the recoil, but I will still be using grip on this gun, so it's future proofed as well. The second attachment that will make this gun elite is quick draw. This gun is meant to be played as a face-to-face weapon. You engage the targets, you be aggressive, and you keep them at medium to lower medium ranges. So this gun is all about aggression, and therefore quick draw is extremely important for winning those gunfights. Of course, we control our aggression though, and we use logic and we think about what we are doing. Without quick draw, you will find yourself losing some gunfights because the ADS time is not that great for this weapon. Also, with the recoil on this weapon, sometimes you will miss a few shots, so therefore you want to be ADS'd in and hitting those shots as soon as possible and compensating for that recoil. The enemies will feel like they're getting melted by this weapon because of that quick draw and grip combination already. I do believe when they were designing this gun, in my opinion, that they had in mind that the player will have to use grip and quick draw because of the specifications of this weapon. So grip and quick draw are pillars for this gun. The third attachment that will help make this gun elite is fusion mags. Surprising, right? I bet none of you would have guessed that I would be using fusion mags on any weapon. When I am designing these attachments to make the guns elite, I'm keeping it in mind that you will be pushing the gun to its limits. It will be the best of the best that you can use and just go on huge streaks with it. And when I was testing this gun before without the fusion mags, I found myself, even with scavenger, that the ammo was run out too quickly, which in turn renders the gun ineffective and puts you in danger when you're on a streak. Therefore, if you're at a level where you do get high streaks and you want to push the gun to the limits, then attach fusion mags to it. I highly recommend it, and it helps me out and it makes a difference. The last thing you want to do against good competition is be searching for a scavenger pack. And of course you can use rewind, but you would have to wait for it to charge, and you don't want to be forced to use a certain specialist when using a weapon. I don't use fusion mags on any other assault rifle or submachine gun though. So if I'm using it on the VOLK, then it must make a difference. But that's only if you can go on high streaks. It's very important. Otherwise you can use a perk in place of that. I am teaching you guys to be elite though, so you have to have that aim in your mind that you will go on high streaks sooner or later. Now, normally I don't use many attachments on my weapons. I prefer it that way. I prefer to use perks than attachments on my weapons, and I normally keep it at 3 attachments max on the weapon. I do recommend other attachments on the side here and there. However, the VOLK is different. The VOLK performs better with the more right attachments on it. So I'm actually using more attachments on this gun rather than perks, and it works very well. Now, the 4th attachment that will help make this gun elite is Particle Amp. Particle Amp makes a huge difference on this gun, and the gun feels deadly with Particle Amp. I highly recommend it. You can see how the enemies are dropping, and I've got the confidence to engage those targets at ranges with the Particle Amp. When I removed the Particle Amp when I was testing it, you can see it made a difference, and I got a lot more hit markers and the enemies managed to escape. But you want to drop the enemies as soon as possible, and Particle Amp helps you with that because the recoil is so strong on this weapon. Consistency, as I've mentioned many times before, is very important to me, and it's a huge factor in being a good player and destroying lobbies. And therefore, with the Particle Amp, your gun will feel more consistent. You will have confidence in your weapon. It will save you at times, and you will see what I mean when you start using this. Also, the variant that I'm using for the VOLK, it's called Deadeye, and it's a common variant, so it should be purchasable. The Deadeye variant actually stacks with Particle Amp, giving you that extra lethality. You will actually make your enemies think that the VOLK is OP. The final and 5th attachment that will make your VOLK elite is Elo Sight, or any optical sight of your choice. The recoil coupled with the poor iron sights on this weapon will degrade your accuracy, and you will miss some shots due to that. If you're very comfortable with the iron sights, then you can get away with it, but at a higher level and playing against good competition, you will find that the Elo Sight is a good choice and a good attachment to equip on your VOLK. The last thing you want to do is miss shots on this weapon, so therefore I highly recommend using an optical sight, either the red dot sight or the Elo Sight. I do prefer using the Elo Sight on the VOLK. The iron sights are just not good to push this weapon to the limits because you will miss those shots and you will get killed by higher accuracy weapons such as the NV4 and even the K-bar. Therefore, with these 5 attachments, Elo Sight, Grip, Quick Draw, Fusion Mags and Particle Amp, your VOLK will now be elite, and you will be dropping those enemies. The enemies will feel the power of this weapon with this attachment guide. As for the perks, I run Ghost and Scavenger. For the specialist, I recommend running Phase Shift and Perception from the FDL rig, or Rewind and Propulsion from the Synaptic rig. And also, which is a very good specialist for this weapon, is the Merc rig with Infusion and the Reactive Armor. You will absolutely destroy with that combination and using this weapon because it's an in-your-face weapon. I hope you guys enjoyed that and found that informative. Please leave a like if you did, and please share the videos if you want to see me grow. And thanks again for sharing the videos, much appreciated. And do subscribe if you haven't already. Take care. Bye.